Ernest Hemingway once said, "In our darkest moments, we don't need solutions or advice. What we yearn for is simple human connection, a quiet presence, a gentle touch. These small gestures are the anchors that hold us steady when life feels like it's too much. Please don't try to fix me. Don't take on my pain or push away my shadows. Just sit beside me as I work through my own inner storms. Be the steady hand I can reach for as I find my way. My pain is mine to carry. My battle's mine to face. But your presence reminds me I'm not alone in this vast, sometimes frightening world. It's a quiet reminder that I am worthy of love, even when I feel broken. So in those dark hours, when I lose my way, will you just be here? Not as a rescuer, but as a companion. Hold my hand until the dawn arrives, helping me remember my strength. Your silent support is the most precious gift you can give. It's a love that helps me remember who I am, even when I forget." So welcome to another episode of our podcast.
I'm Russell.
And this is Gail. We started with a quote today, and we wanted to start talking with you about holding space and holding space in your intimate relationship.
Yeah, we call that quote, and a lot of what's in it, we call holding space in the relationship. And it's the ability to be able to let your partner go through whatever they're going through, and you stay in a great space. Instead of being upset, angry, miserable that you're waiting for them.
Triggered, activated,
judging them.
Something about you. Yeah.
Whatever it might be, a lot of the quality of the communication, the connection, the relationship comes down to the ability to actually hold space, rather than in those times where you're connecting in some way, having a conversation, communicating. How can you be when, let's say, better if I talk about me, but how can she be when I'm going through something? You know, like typically in our relationship, she's the upbeat one, the happy one, the positive one, the smiley one. I'm the outgoing one, the extrovert.
Spontaneous.
I'm the introvert, the quiet one, the more thinking things through person.
Reserved.
Yeah, reserved, and I will become more withdrawn. She doesn't ever do withdrawn, but I will do withdrawn. I can do down, I can even do depressed or low, all sorts of places I can get to. She's the more positive in the relationship.
And it's how can you actually hold the space when your partner's going through something. So it's interesting one as well as you actually nut through it, because you go like, if I'm holding space for him, sometimes what he's shared with me is actually about me, and I can get triggered or activated or feel hurt or make it mean something about me. And my ability to actually like hear what he's saying and hold the space for him to experience and move through it himself without making it mean something about me is a critical part of actually holding space. And another part of it is like in the holding space, if what he said, like, it's not so. Just because he said something about how I be doesn't mean it's actually the actual way that I am. I've got to reflect on it. I've got to look at it and go like, is there actual accuracy in that? Or is that not actually who I am right now? Or am I actually being that way? Or is that actually some version of me from the past? Which very well could be, because oftentimes in our relationships, what we find is our partner has a listening for us that is based on past ways that we were or have been in our relationship, and may not be actually how we're showing up in that present moment.
So if you think about it, when you need to hold space, what's going to be happening for your partner is most of the time they're triggered or hurt about something, they're upset about something, they're feeling something themselves, which is when you tend to pay out on the people you love the most in those situations, and you tend to get upset with the people that are around you, which of course in a relationship is your intimate partner.
Yeah.
So if I'm going through something, that I'm not going to be nice to her. It doesn't matter how enlightened you are or how much work you've done.
You still are a human being.
So you're still going to get hurt, triggered by day-to-day events, by things that happen, by all sorts of mood shifts that go on. Some of them conscious, some of them unconscious. But when that happens, I'm not going to be as nice to her as she wants me to be. And in those moments, that's how much growth has she had, how much is she able to be with in herself without taking it personal, really, because it's going to come across as a personal thing. So, you know, I would say in our relationship, she is much better at holding space in the relationship than I am.
And it's really interesting because naturally my personality type is one that is very talkative and likes to fill space. So the idea of actually holding space is something that I learned early on in my childhood. And as we were talking about the possibility of recording this podcast and talking about holding space, I reflected back and went like, wow, where were the moments in time where I learned that skill? Because it is a skill that is learnable and teachable.
The key is here is that in this relationship, you're in a relationship, and the reason that we're in the relationship is I want to feel love from her. I want her to love me because that makes me feel better. So when she's not in a great space herself, she doesn't have capacity to love herself. So how's she going to have capacity to be good in the relationship and love me? So when she takes that away, this is the key to the holding space part of it. When she takes that away, I feel unloved. And the minute I feel unloved, what do we do in a relationship? We look to our partner to get them to show us love. We go, okay, I feel unloved. Therefore, if you love me, I will feel better about myself. And the key here is if I feel unloved, the person that I need to deal with is me. The reason I feel unloved is not because of her. And if I'm looking to her and she's not in a great place, how am I going to be able to hold space for her?
And if you think back to the quote, like, how can you be with your partner in their darkest moments, in their darkest storm, without trying to fix? And gentlemen, naturally, you're going to want to fix. It is hardwired into you to want to fix problems. And when your partner, your wife, your lover, whatever she might be called in your world, like when she's hurting or she's upset or something's not working for her, you're naturally going to want to fix it. And that is a big don't do it, right? Like
if there's one thing you get from
all of this,
there's certain key moments. As a man, do not fix.
This is not a project for you.
I know it felt like a project when you got together, but she is not my project.
No.
She doesn't need fixing. If you try to fix a woman, what happens is she feels that you don't understand her, you don't accept her, you don't get her, she feels like you don't love her. So one of the key things that we teach through all of our work is do not fix, avoid the temptation to fix. If you're a woman and you're doing fixing, you're probably in a masculine state.
Yeah, which again, you want to go, hang on a second, that's the wrong place for me to be. And the other thing...
Or a mothering state, actually. That's the other place you fix from.
That's another place you can actually be as well. But it's like, the moment you fix, gentlemen, or you attempt to fix, let's try to fix, right, or attempt it, you're going to hear the same thing over and over and over again. And I know as you guys are listening to this, gentlemen, you will know that your partner has shared with you the same thing over and over and over again. And in your mind, you're like, oh my God, I swear we fixed that like weeks ago. Why is she still talking about it? Or maybe you're in a relationship with another person and you're like, oh my gosh, I see when they keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. It's because you either aren't hearing them and getting them in that moment, and you don't understand what they've shared, or you tried to fix it, which just made them feel like, okay, he totally doesn't get me in this moment. I'm going to revisit that, or I'm going to like tweak it and change it or share it in a different way in another day's time or a week's time or a month's time. And hopefully he'll get it then.
So, you know, what we want, if you go back to that quote, is especially from a feminine point of view, she needs safety and security. So she wants me to be there in a masculine, be present. I need to pay attention to her. I can't just be giving it lip service.
No. And definitely in your intimate relationship, it's really important that you actually hear and, you know, have your partner feel gotten in the relationship, right? And even in friendships or with your parents or with other people in your life, guys, this still applies, right? Like, they need to feel like you got them, and not paying lip service or trying to just shut them up and stop saying the thing, right? Like, it's like you have to actually get them and go, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. Now, what you do with what they shared is up to you. That's your business, but it's like you still want to acknowledge and appreciate, even if I totally disagree with what Russell might be sharing or what I'm sharing to him. It's still like, wow, babe, thanks so much for sharing, because I want to know that he knows that I heard him and I got it. Whether I agree with it or not is irrelevant. I want him to feel gotten, and then hold space for myself or him to move through what we need to.
And the best way we can do that is to really just be present and just listen, and listen with compassion, listen with empathy, and that we really just want to soothe away the problem.
Yeah.
We want to you'll often hear me say that I have Gail's heart in my hands in a ball of cotton wool because it needs protecting.
And inside of him holding that, I can do all the things and go erratic and crazy and like, wah, do all my things, but I know that he's got me. Like, he's got my heart.
And that's what she needs to work through whatever she might be working through, whatever the pain is, whatever. And now, how long does it take?
It takes as long as it takes. How long's a piece of string? That's the $100 question, right?
Who knows? We're in this for life. So, because we're in it for life, like maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe a month. Who knows? Because ideally, what we want to be doing in a relationship is growing, but we want to be growing together. But that doesn't mean that we grow at the same time. It doesn't mean we grow at the same speed.
And it doesn't mean that your partner or you are going to get the thing that you need to get in as quick a time as you'd like them to. Like, Russell would be like, oh man, is she ever going to get that? Well, maybe, or maybe not. But that's not up to him. That's up to me, and vice versa, right?
We often find that the relationship is, if one person's working or both people are we're working all the time on ourselves, with other people, we're learning, we're growing, we're moving. So I'm sure she has the same opinion that I have, and that is that I'm waiting for her to catch up. Like, if she could grow quicker, that would make my life easier. And I'm sure she thinks the same. But we often find in a relationship that one person feels like they've grown faster than the other person, and they're often complaining that the other person isn't catching up.
Well, and that's an interesting one when you say that, Russell, because when you talk about complaining or judging or being critical of I'm ahead of you or you're ahead of me, right? Like, what you're saying there, guys, is you're holding space, but you're judging. Holding space is a non-judgmental. You're actually just holding the container for them to be and do however they need to be and do in that moment. It's no judgment. It's safe. It's ultimately you can say anything and everything without feeling like, oh my gosh, if I said that thing, my partner's going to walk out. Or if I shared that depth of my soul, they're going to think I'm crazy or insane or what, off the wall, or whatever the thing is you might say. The thing is you say in your mind, right? Not the things that are outwardly being said, but what do you say in your mind that you think your partner is going to feel if you actually just shared yourself, and if your partner actually just held space, and you could say, wow, that really drove me crazy when you did the thing the other day, without your partner going, well, and then losing his shit and going off on a tangent, right? But just going wow, no way, babe. What was that like for you? And having that space and that opportunity to share with your partner openly without having to be enlightened, because let's face it, guys, you're a human being. You're not going to be enlightened in every moment, no matter how much work you've done.
And if you're putting that forward, and if you see people putting that forward, I'm pretty sure that's not real.
I'm 100% certain that's not real. It's like looking at somebody's Instagram highlights and seeing all the cool stuff and then thinking shit's not going down in their life. Stuff happens for every single human being.
We have a great life. We have great tools for working through relationship stuff. We let things go really quick. We have a great connection, a lot of love.
Shit still happens.
But,
we argue.
Don't judge us by what you're seeing here today. You
Right?
know, we've got kids, we've got a busy life, we've got a lot going on.
Technology still drives me crazy. When I can't find my phone in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, where's my phone? Like, I still have those moments. We're human beings, right? Like,
and this is super important to us because we see so many couples that are that are supporting people, coaching or running therapy sessions, whatever, and they put forward this wonderful relationship and like they've got everything handled. The relationship's always a moving dynamic, and there's an individual is a moving dynamic. There's always a lot going on.
yeah.
So you know.
So as the relationship grows and as you individually grow, which is like your self growth, that moves the poles with the relationship as well. So it's like you always have to create a space to fall in love with each other at every different moment. It's like if you could wake up every moment at every day and fall in love with your partner as if you're falling in love with them for the first time. So think of that moment when you just like you knew you loved the person that you're with and you got them and it's like they got you and you just wanted to stay in that bubble. If you could actually hold space and recreate that moment by moment, day by day, and choose that, your relationship would be an awesome place to be.
What I was going to say about that, going back to before, is you know if we're in this relationship and perhaps she's stressed about something, there's a lot going on with the kids, or there's something worrying her about something, because women carry the weight emotionally, and so they'll hold on to the weight emotionally. One of the jobs that we teach, one of the things we teach the men to do is to be able to take that emotional weight away, but they can hold it emotionally, not even really know what's going on with them. They just know that something's not right. And that can come out as complaining, stress,
Cranky bitch.
Cranky bitch, critical, whatever it might be.
Hard, like controlled, like wanting things to get done. I'm just trying to think of all the different ways that it comes out for me.
and so as me in the relationship, I can look at her and I can go, shit, go and get some coaching, go and get some help, go and get some support.
I'm pretty sure you said that to me.
I definitely have said that to her. I definitely have said that to her. So go and do something about it so you're not so difficult to be around, so it's not so hard. And then I could say, well, I've grown more than you because I don't do that and you need to catch up. Well, the thing
even
about
the sound of that, it's like neater. You can hear the childlike mannerism, like I've grown more than you, neater. Like you can hear it in there, right? Like it's important that you notice those funnies for yourself, right? Like I'm not. Russell's okay for me to poke fun, right? But like be gentle when you're actually working with your partner.
Yeah, I definitely need to be poked.
Right, but it's like you want to notice the little like funnies, like okay, that's very like poking fun on the playground.
I think the point is that when she's like that, I may have grown, but if that's bugging me, or I'm complaining about it, or I think she needs to grow more, I haven't grown enough to be able to get over that.
The moment you want to say the moment I want to say you need, like he needs to grow or he needs to catch up or I've outgrown my partner, which we've totally heard that one before as well, where people feel like they're doing all the growth and their partner's not growing. It's like, whoa. Like check yourself. Like
check yourself is an important thing.
Like check yourself and hold your own space and go, whoa, if I'm saying he needs to change something, clearly I need to change and like grow within self, because I'm pointing the finger over there, guys. Remember, you're pointing the finger, and I know for those of you listening can't hear it, but point one finger, point your.
For those of you listening can hear. For those of you listening can't see.
Can't see. Love it. But if you point one finger forward, if I'm pointing one finger at Russell, remember there's 3 more pointing back at me. So that makes me 75% responsible for the thing I'm blaming him for, and he's only 25%. And if I could take that 75% that's me and make change here, which, by the way, you can't actually change your partner. The person you've got to deal with is self. So if I go to work on me and I change me and I see like, wow, like how can I hold space for him in this moment? How can I actually go like, I need to shift in this moment. What if he doesn't shift? If I just shift, I have massive power to create change in our relationship.
So in this relationship, she's we do work in the Wisdom Warriors with personality types, and you see that there's an assertive type, a compliant type, and a withdrawing type. I'm the compliant type. She's the assertive type.
In case you didn't know.
What tends to happen in our relationship is when she's feeling something that she's not great about, it comes out in assertion, like in some form of
I assert myself
into the space.
The space or the whatever it might be, the conversation.
Whereas when I'm feeling it, I withdraw and remove myself from a space.
So you can imagine, like, I then go into this space. Right?
So,
Like,
so that's
totally
the dynamic. She wants to be in my space to get me out, because then she'll feel loved and connected and like everything's safe and she's okay. And when I go into when she goes into her assertive space, I want to pull away from that and get away and give her space. But she doesn't need space. She doesn't need that withdrawing energy.
No.
She needs me to be present at that time.
Yeah.
So often we can feel like we are not doing a good job as a man. This is one of the big problems in a relationship, because of the way we hear women. We hear it like a complaint, we hear it like moaning, we hear it like nagging. It makes us feel like they're not happy. As the natural provider, the masculine's the provider. As the provider, we want to provide happiness. We want to provide a place where they can flourish and feel great. But that's not actually the important issue. The important issue is we need to provide security and safety. A place where she can go wherever she needs to.
And you're holding the space for that to happen, because it's in the holding the space that 9 times out of 10, guys, like, there's nothing for you to do with the thing we're bringing, if you want to call it the problem we're bringing. 9 times out of 10, if there is, it will get brought up and it will get discussed and worked through. And it's ability to hold space while she's bringing it, like, so if I'm bringing it to Russell, for him to hold space, for me to just share myself, whatever it sounds like. And it could very well sound like you haven't, fill in the blanks, and you're not, and you haven't, and you're not, and all those things.
It can sound personal,
It
you
sounds
know,
very like a personal
and especially if you're the assertive type.
Yeah, it would sound very personal.
She's going to lay it on me, because that's her way of unloading when she's not feeling great. And then if I'm the compliant type, immediately I feel like I'm letting her down or I'm not doing a good job, and then I can get hurt. Now, once I'm hurt, the relationship, we talk about the relationship as, you know, one of you needs to stay in adult in a good place all the time. And what normally happens, what we find in relationship, is one person goes into child in what we call a bad state, or a lower state, a childhood state, and the other person goes down there with them.
Yeah.
And you end up bickering as children, saying, what are you doing? Why are you in a childlike state? Get out of that. I'm not happy with you. But what's the more powerful place to be is if she goes to that any type of state like that, I need to hold space. I need to stay there. Bring love to the relationship. Yeah. Bring love to the relationship entity, to the space of the relationship entity. Yeah. I need to bring compassion and empathy. That's why people get upset in the first place, because they're not feeling loved. They're not feeling safe. As children, that was all we wanted, was love and safety. Yeah. So we basically repeat that pattern of trying to get love and safety as we grow and go together.
Yeah, and take it into our relationships.
And we see our partner as the person that can provide that wholeness, that completeness, that love and safety. The minute that they're not at their best, it really has nothing to do with us. They're not at their best. At our best, we love each other. Well, we never stop loving each other.
Love doesn't ever go. Sometimes I don't like it.
We might not express it how the other person wants it. Yeah. We might be moody, cranky, miserable. Yeah. But at our absolute best, we are absolutely in love with each other. And we absolutely adore each other. We love each other's company. We love the quirkiness.
We actually want to spend time together. Like, I often hear couples like not wanting to actually spend time with their partner, and that's because, like, they've grown apart, right? Like they've not taken the time to hold space for each other, to be there for each other. It's like, oh gosh, there's that sore point. There's a place I have to actually like deal with stuff. And, you know, it's just important that, like, you know, you're able to come and fall back in love. And I think that's like one of the gifts of the relationship method is like the tools really are there to have you fall back in love with your partner. And one of the things like we've been talking about today is holding space. And it is a beautiful gift that you give your partner and you give yourself. Like, if Russell brings something to me, if I stop for a moment, and breathe, right? And like, I mean, breathe, like actually breathe into your body. Like, take a deep breath. Breathe in. Hear what he's saying and go, wow, here's somebody who I love, who's in pain or hurting right now. And instead of making it mean something about me, go, how can I actually help him? And it's almost like you allow yourself to be third person. Like, you go, like, if he wasn't talking about me, like say the complaint is about me or the thing he's talking about is me, right? If I wasn't me, if I was listening as somebody else, like I could hear that and have compassion and love and grace. But we don't do that inside of our relationship. We don't take the time to go like, wow, what is going on for him right now? How much hurt is he in, or how much pain, or what is he suffering with? We go, oh my gosh, he said that thing about me, and raw.
So if you look at it, she has a critical mind. She has a criticism wound, an inner critic. You'll hear us come back to it time and time again.
Yeah.
But when she's doing that to herself, or she's stressed, or something's going on, she will be critical of me and at me outwardly. And of course,
because internally it's got too loud and it's too much. So then, like, if I don't catch myself, the internal has gotten too loud, and the outward criticism, control all comes in.
And then, so as she's critical of me or at me, it would be easy for me to take that personally. And then the minute I take that personally, you know, if we went back to a wound that I might have of being unlovable, I feel unloved. So she's critical because something's going on in her. I'm unloved. Now, if you're going to hold space in that moment, you need to have some level of self-mastery, some level of understanding yourself, and you need to have probably done some work on yourself to be complete with your own issues. Because if I'm not, that criticism is going to trigger my unloved, and at that moment I'm going to snap back or be upset with her, and that is me not holding space. One of the things we're going to talk about in another episode is how to park something.
Yeah.
And it's really critical, but it's critical to the ability to be able to hold space. So when she says something to me that I find critical, maybe inside, you know, you'll hear me call him Little Russell a lot, because that's how I refer to my little inner child. Maybe little Russell feels hurt and unloved, and I feel that snap inside. It's like a little
flick of a switch.
Flick of a switch, and I want to react, because we do not want, the thing we don't want to do is sit with our own pain. Sitting with our own pain, that's what anger's about, that's what anxiety is about. It's all about avoiding sitting with your own pain. So the ability that I can sit with the pain that her behavior is causing, and the freedom I have to be with that pain, is directly going to impact my ability to hold space for her. Now, let's just say that she strikes a very deep wound in me by something she says, which she, of course, now the other thing, your partner's an expert at that, right? It's like they did a master's in that. That was what they've lived for, is to find the button in you that they can push. So let's just say she strikes a very deep wound in me and it really hurts. How am I going to hold space in that moment? I need to park the issue in me. I need to go, I got it, Little Russell. I'm there. I can feel it. I understand it. I'm going to park that. And we'll do more about parking in another episode. But just to give you the idea of it, once I've parked it, then I can actually be present for her. And I have two ways of reacting. And one of the ways of reacting when she's critical and upset, what you might call cranky, excuse me a second. One of the ways of reacting is to get upset with her and say, bloody hell, you're always sharp and snappy at me. What's going on? The other way is to hear it like, wow, she's hurting. What is she hurting with right now? And what can I bring to the party to support her? And then, you know, I get really curious and inquisitive, and I don't fix, I don't try and work it out. I just go, baby, what's going on? Sometimes I might even bring fun. Do you know, fun lightens up a situation.
That's why it's called fun.
Yeah, it lightens it up. It makes it easier. So sometimes I'll bring fun to the situation to take her away from whatever she's feeling inside. But the most important thing is for me to be there for her, for me to be able to hear what's going on, for me to get her with interest. Look, this is the woman I married. This is the woman I love to bits. Wouldn't I want to heal and soothe and support and...
In her darkest moments, in his darkest moments, to be there and support, right? And I just want to swing back around just for those of you that maybe haven't done a lot of personal growth, so that you're not like, holy crap, well, how do I hold space if I've not done any? Russell just said I have to have done work on myself. Okay, so here's the short and fast, how you can actually practice it, whether you've done work on yourself or not, is the moment your partner is struggling or in struggle town, which you know when that's happening, like it's very clear and evident, is to ask the question, is there anything I can do for you right now? Can I help in any way? Those are great questions to ask. Or just hear what they have to say. And before you actually respond, take a big breath in and then look at your partner and see them, regardless of what might be going on inside. So like, even if like, you're like, oh my gosh, oh, all the things are happening inside and your brain's going crazy because of what they've just said, take a breath and look over at them and say like, is there anything I can do to help you right now? Right? Because I don't want people to be like, oh, how do I hold space? And holding space sometimes actually just means sitting with them and letting them actually get it all out and go, is there anything else you'd like to share? And I know, like for myself, even though I have done work, Russell will be saying stuff, and the space that I'm holding, like I can hear all my internal dialogue having a whole conversation back at what I would want to say to that in those moments. And I keep breathing. And there's been times he's asked me like, is there anything you want to say about that? And the response I give him is, I actually cannot respond anything about that right now. Because I know that anything I respond in that moment is going to be likely 10,000 times more than the dialogue that was going on while he was sharing the thing. But in the holding space environment that I'm doing at that moment, I'm parking like Russell said, but I'm also then not able to say anything about what he might have shared, in case he does need some feedback or he does require my response. So it's actually okay to say that too. Like, I actually can't give you a response right now. And then to circle back at some point and have a conversation about it when you're not in triggeration, which is a great way that we all react and defend.
So I think, you know, to really get it from the concept of this idea that something she's doing is making me feel loved, or taking love away. That is not the case. We take love away from ourselves by how we view, focus, or interpret what is going on over there. And if we can just be with that and understand that in ourselves, then there is never anything to fix. Now the feminine can fix the man. It's not such a big deal for
they're teachable. They're like puppy dogs. We can totally teach them. They are teachable.
But the last thing a woman wants is for you to fix her. If she wants something fixed, she'll ask it. So for example, we've got a curtain rod that she wants put up. When she says, I want the curtain rod fixed up,
that's like actually go and do the thing.
Go and do the thing.
Put the curtain rod up.
When she comes and she says, I feel upset because you didn't do the dishwasher, then when she says that, she doesn't need me to fix that. I mean, she might need me to do the dishwasher, but she doesn't need me to, she needs me to ask her, how's that feel? Why are you upset about that? What is it that I did that you didn't like? She needs me to ask questions and really get out everything she feels. And it's important to understand it in the holding space realm, because you have to be present in the relationship. You can't just go, oh, I'm just holding space, but I'm going to hold space in the bedroom. She can hold space in the lounge room.
That's not holding space. That's almost like, putting icing on dog shit and expecting it to like taste good. Like it's just, it's like you've got to check in with your partner. If they're the one struggling, it's like, is there anything you need right now? And they might actually just say, no, I'm fine. Please leave me alone. And that's okay. But then don't leave them alone for too long. You still want to check in and actually go, is there anything I can actually do right now to help or support you?
So holding space is not checking out.
No.
And holding space still requires some level of connection, some level of communication. Even if it's just putting a hand on your partner, just to let them know that you're there. And then they'll work through whatever they need to work through. But I find the key is this idea that we have, that we don't, when they're not in a great place, that we somehow feel unloved. And I always feel that's why I feel Gail's so good at this, because I will withdraw and can withdraw. And for somebody who's like Gail, a positive attitude, a positive nature, likes to be upbeat, likes to be happy, when I pull that away from her, take that away, I always feel like that's difficult for her to handle. And she'll have to say more about it, but I feel like that's when, and her ability to let me do that, it really is really good.
To not make it mean something about me, it doesn't mean he doesn't love me, it doesn't mean he's leaving me, it doesn't mean that he's gone, it doesn't mean any of those things. All of those things, crazy girl head, that's a whole other subject and topic and podcast. Crazy girl head, all the things that go on in my mind, those things aren't real. And what I have to remind myself is go back to that moment. Who was the man who fell in love with me? Okay, he's still there, but he is not available right now. You know, it's like he's just...
I haven't changed.
He hasn't changed.
I'm just going through a moment.
Moving through something, so...
And I'm not the type, I don't want to be upbeat all the time. I mean, you see, we got two girls that are here, we got other kids, but we got two girls that live with us, 7 and 9, and plus Gail. They all talk a million miles an hour. They never stop. I took Arizona to gymnastics, which is 20 minutes away the other day. She's the 7-year-old. She spoke for the whole 20 minutes. She never took a breath. And so I'm continuously around that, which is a lot of stimulation for me, like more stimulation than I'm used to. I need to be in a relationship that allows me to take a minute. And it's more minutes than Gail would like me to take. That's natural to her. She wants me to be involved all the time in conversation. That's why she talks a lot, because that's how she connects. But I don't connect that way. So I need to have she needs the ability to hold the space for me to take a minute. And sometimes those minutes might run into hours. Sometimes they might even run into days. Now I can minimize that by staying in great shape and staying healthy and doing work on myself. But sometimes I just need time. And when I need time, she needs to be able to stay there for me and not take herself away, not go, oh, he's miserable, he's down, he's sulking, whatever it is. She needs to just be able to be there and get that for me. If she can do that, and this is so important, if she can do that rather than bombarding me with what she wants me to do or stuff, if she can do that, I will come round much quicker. Yeah. Because I'm self-replenishing in those moments.
So the gift in holding space is that you actually allow the person to move through whatever they're dealing with much quicker. The moment you intrude, you become part of it, you try and make it something about you, you make it bigger than her, all that perpetuates and it's like adding fuel to the fire. But when you learn to hold space and that gift of holding space for another person, you actually allow them the space to move through really quickly.
Which that's my version of it, is I need a time out. But her version is she just needs to get her words out. She just needs to express herself. She just needs to say how it feels. Yeah. And so that all comes like a mass amount of communication. That's when I need to buckle down and be present. I need to not make it be about me. I need to not listen to the words, not get tied into it. I just need to know, how does that feel? What do you need from me? What can I do for you? Sometimes it might just be, she might say, I just need to go for a walk to get some time.
And there are always clues. And I'm sure that will lead into another podcast that we'll talk about, is women need to fill their cup and men need to recharge their batteries. That's a whole other topic of taking care of self. But it's you need to know what the person needs in that moment, regardless of whether you're holding space or not. It's what do they actually need to move through?
So to sum up, perhaps.
Holding space is, not giving advice, I know we're telling you what it's not. It's not giving advice, it's not giving solutions. It's holding the space and not being judgment or critical or having something to say or wanting to fix or make it okay for them. Holding space is actually your ability to just be with, in this case, your intimate partner.
So actually the clue is in the title. Like if you're on video, you'll be able to see me. If you're not, I can hold my hands in a cupped motion near each other, and I can hold the space.
Like actual air, like nothingness, right?
So there's a space in my hands right now, and if I hold that, there's nothing in there. There's nothing to do with it. I can focus on it. I can be present to it.
Nothing to put in, nothing to add. It's not like there's
nothing to take away.
It's just space.
It's just a space for her to be her in.
So if you're struggling to figure out what is holding space, hold your hands up. Hold them up in front of you, so like they're just under like your head type height, so you can actually see them and observe holding space. And the biggest clues are there's nothing to do. There's nothing in the space. It's just allowing somebody to be and show up in whatever space they are in that moment, and you're just holding and being there with them to actually allow them to move through.
And then what happens when you get this? Two beautiful things happen. Firstly, in a relationship, you feel like you're heard, you're understood, you're gotten, your partner respects you, appreciates you, and is there for you.
Yeah.
The second thing that happens when you're holding the space is you just learn how to love yourself and then pour that love into your partner and the relationship. It creates a huge amount of connection and intimacy and a bond that just goes beyond what you're normally trying to do when the partner's upset, which is change them, fix them, make it better, get out of it faster because you need to get out of it faster because you don't feel loved. And it just becomes this beautiful, it's the same as beautiful, but without a couple of letters. It just becomes this beautiful environment.
It's like, how can I love myself and love my partner in the face of no agreement? And the no agreement is whatever they might be challenged by and the space that you need to hold for them to move through them. So how can you love yourself and love them and hold that space in that moment?
And look how it redesigns relationships. We're redesigning people's relationships all the time, but it redesigns the relationship because it becomes about not, I want her to be happy, I want her to be good, I want her to treat me nice, I want her to always be loving towards me, I want her to do the things that I love her to do. It becomes not about that, it becomes, I'm open and ready and accepting the next moment she's not at her best, because that gives me a chance to grow. It gives me a chance to pour love into the relationship. It gives me an opportunity to show her how I'm there for her, how much I want to be present for her, and how much space I can create for her to just be her. So it switches from this kind of like, she has to be like this, he has to be like this, they have to do this. This is what makes me happy, to, I'll just be here, babe. I'll be here present for you. And then one of the things we didn't cover is how long does it take?
Well, we did talk about it when we said how long.
Did we?
Like a piece of string. You can actually define. Your ability to hold this space allows them to move through it quickly. So it's like, you can't say you should be finished holding space. I shouldn't have to hold space longer than an hour. Well, no. And it doesn't mean you can't ask them to do things or you can't have normal conversations whilst you're holding space and whilst they're going through things. Like, still do your normal life, but it's like the bigger container is the space that you're holding whilst they move through, and then still operate life, and then at some point they'll come out the other side.
And if
you're
getting this and you're doing it in the way that we're talking about it, there's no need for it to be over any faster or slower than it is.
It doesn't have to be defined by it needs to only take an hour or a day or a week or a month. It just is.
Our happiness, our relationship, our lives, our connection, our bond, it is not defined by how long someone might need to hold space for. And you can say, well, who goes first, who does it, and what we always say, whoever needs to. Yeah. It's not a competition.
It's not like I've held space so many times and you haven't. No. It's just, you just hold space. You just be present to what your actual partner needs.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Anything else, Frank?
That's everything for now. Holding
Awesome.
space, guys. Enjoy it.
Thank
Practice
you.
it.
Okay.
All right.